Hi, I'm Jen from the Jersey Beauty Company, and I'm here with Victoria from Dermalogica.
Hello.
And we are chatting all about hyperpigmentation issues. So different types of pigmentation issues that you might see in your skin and the best products that are available to help you tackle those issues. So we all know that our skin changes as we age. We'll start to see fine lines, wrinkles. We might get areas of pigmentation that weren't there before. We can end up with hormonal breakouts. It changes all the time, our skin, and what worked for your skin 10 years ago might not work now. We do have to change our skincare products to suit our skin for the age we are. So hyperpigmentation is something that we can experience. You can have that when you're younger, but also it can suddenly develop as you get older, and it is common as we age. So we're going to chat all about the different types of hyperpigmentation you might experience and the best products that you can use to tackle that, basically. So first, let's just chat a little bit about hyperpigmentation at the skin level, Victoria. What happens at the skin level?
Yeah, so with regards to what's happening in your skin, so your skin produces a protein called melanin, and the production of this goes into overdrive by certain triggers. So the leading trigger is exposure to UV or the sun, but not necessarily when it's sunny, so UV rays generally. And if you think about when your skin tans, so essentially melanin is produced as a defensive response to UV radiation, and the melanin that forms almost forms like a sun umbrella. And if you were to look inside your skin cells, the melanin forms like a little sun umbrella over the nucleus within that skin cell. And essentially the melanin is trying to protect that skin cell's DNA from damage. And if that cell's DNA was damaged, then whenever you have cellular DNA damage, you may get cell mutations, which is ultimately what happens with skin cancer development. And so not only is our skin producing melanin if we're exposed to UV radiation or the sun, also there are other triggers that trigger the cell, which is called a melanocyte cells, that produces the melanin. Inflammation is one of those triggers. So wherever there is an inflammatory and an immune response within the skin, melanin is produced as a byproduct of that kind of skin wound healing response. So even if you just think about a breakout or a spot, there's an infection, there's inflammation, and there's a pigmented part left behind. And also hormones. There are many hormones which trigger that melanocyte cell to produce melanin. A lot of female reproductive hormones, so we might see pregnancy pigmentation, being on the contraceptive pill, even stress. So there are a number of external and internal factors that trigger that melanin to be produced or overproduced.
But the good news is there are products, depending on the type of pigmentation or hyperpigmentation, that can help to reduce the visibility on our skin, which is brilliant. So when we think about hyperpigmentation, some people might have dark spots, but others might have post-breakout marks that you've mentioned. So let's chat through some of the products that are available and the type of hyperpigmentation that they will help. So we'll start with dark spots on our skin. What is the best product for dark spots?
So when we look at dark spots, this is what we're talking about: circular spots, although they tend to have irregular edges, a bit more splodge-like, similar to freckles, but usually bigger. And as we were saying, they can be common in older age from years of accumulative UV exposure, or you could almost have clusters of those kind of dark spots on a larger area, particularly where you catch the sun, or it could even be hormonally induced pigmentation. So where you have dark spots or an accumulation of pigmented spots or patches, it would be your PowerBright Dark Spot Serum. This would be your key serum to go to. So in here, you've got hexaresorcinol and niacinamide, which work together to reduce excess pigment that's being made in the skin that's causing those patches or spots. But then it also contains shiitake mushroom, blackcurrant oil, peony flower, so that will help to brighten the skin. But it also helps to prevent, if you like, future dark spots. So you've got skin shielding actives to defend against pollution, because we know that being exposed to pollution, these little tiny pollution particles can enter our pores, cause a low level of irritation or oxidation of the tissue, which starts to trigger the pigment response. Yeah. So you're protected against that. And then it's a creamy hydrating serum that also has light diffusing technology. So that really helps to balance the appearance of uneven pigmentation within days. And the clinical study results are great. So when you look at the before and afters, in just 1 week, you start to see a fading. And then over that 4 to 8 week period, a really good reduction in the size and number of dark spots, and generally boosting the skin's luminosity. So your PowerBright Dark Spot Serum is the best option for your dark spots and things like sun damage or melasma.
And this is brand new and very exciting. So we can't wait to see what everybody thinks of Dark Spot Serum. So you mentioned earlier about those pesky post-breakout marks. So I know, for example, for myself, I've got quite fair skin. So if I have a spot, the spot heals and then I'm left with a mark afterwards on my skin. What is the best for getting that to fade?
Yeah, so for your post-breakout marks, if we're talking about isolated breakouts, so I'm very, very similar, Jen. So it'll be, you know, your typical hormonal monthly period spot. The infection goes and you're left with almost like a reddy purple mark, which looks like the spot still there. Obviously, if you have a darker skin tone, that might be brown or brown black in color, depending on your base skin color. And so you would want your Age Bright spot fader, which is this one here. So this is like a creamy serum, but the nib applicator gives you a precise application. So you can just literally pop it onto the head of the spot. Now in here are similar ingredients when it comes to targeting the hyperpigmentation, niacinamide, hexaresorcinol. But of course, we're targeting the spot or the breakout. So there's salicylic acid in there to clear the actual spot itself. So the way in which you want to use your Age Bright Spot Fader is, as soon as you notice the breakout starting to appear, you want to apply this direct to the spot, obviously once you've cleansed your skin, every morning and every evening until the spot clears. It will help the spot clear quicker. And obviously the quicker we clear it, the less inflammation, the less pigmentation we're going to see. And you've got those pigment fighting ingredients to make sure that it heals quicker and the mark is less noticeable, which is what we want.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant product. I really like it. It definitely is one to have in for what, like you said, for if those hormonal spots appear, and it does really fade the mark afterwards, which is great. So we've talked about the spot fader for isolated breakouts. How about if you struggle with breakouts on, like, you know, a larger area than just isolated ones?
Yeah, definitely. So if you have adult breakouts, you may well find that it affects maybe all across the chin or around the mouth, maybe, as you said, almost like along the jawline, lower cheek area, maybe even the neck. So it's all a very reproductive hormones and stress related area. So if you've got a number of breakouts, or, you know, like clusters of breakouts, then you want to go for the Age Bright Clearing Serum. So this one is more of a fluid serum. It's actually really quite fluid. And so you would just use a few drops. You just see it drops out. It's quite a runny serum. And this one, again, has your pigment fighting ingredients in there, like your niacinamide. So that's helping with the fading of the marks. But of course, you can just apply that serum over that larger area. Your salicylic acid will be in there to control the breakouts. And if you are somebody who is breakout prone, using this every single day will minimize your active breakouts and your future breakouts by keeping the pores clear. It's also super hydrating. So these products, the spot fader and this clearing serum, are from our active clearing line, which is designed for adult breakout prone skin. And as an adult, unlike a teen, your skin is usually more dry or dehydrated and sensitized and heals slower. So you've got a super hydrating plant extract in here. So it's hydrating the skin as well as tackling breakouts and the pigmentation marks that might be left behind. So again, just applying that in your serum step, either once or twice a day underneath your moisturizer.
Brilliant. So we've covered dark spot serum for areas of dark spots. We've covered age bright spot fader for the odd spots and the age bright clearing serum for larger areas. How about if your skin tone is just a bit uneven, so you don't necessarily have clear places to tackle it, just generally it just needs a bit of something? What do you recommend for that?
Yeah, I think it's that whole dull skin. You know, people are really keen to get that brighter, luminous skin because it makes us look more youthful and healthy.
Yeah.
And essentially, as part of the natural aging process, because of the amount of collagen that we lose, particularly after the age of 30, we also actually lose melanocyte cells, which are the cells we were talking about that produces pigment. So as a natural part of the skin aging process, your skin becomes more dull and slightly more uneven in its pigmentation due to that. And a lot of people aren't aware that collagen, not only is it important for, you know, kind of plumpness and lines and wrinkles, collagen is actually a light reflector in the skin. So the light that penetrates through into the dermal layers, it's the collagen that bounces that back. So again, if you are losing collagen, then your skin can become quite flat and dull as we age. So your go-to product is a vitamin C serum for general all over brightening for the skin. So that would be our #1 serum, Biolumin C serum from our Age Smart line. Really, really good for general brightening. And you've got your ultra stable vitamin C. So this one is quite fluid, very hydrating on the skin. And unlike a lot of vitamin C serums, doesn't feel gritty or tacky or sticky on the skin, completely absorbs. And you've got your ultra stable forms of vitamin C. So really getting into the skin where the skin needs it, along with skin brightening lactic acid and peptides to really boost collagen and firm the skin. And our clinical studies that we did when we launched Biolumin C serum proved it to be 3 times more brightening than the leading competitive vitamin C serum on the market. So it's a really super popular one for a lot of people.
So I think the key message is you don't have to live with hyperpigmentation issues. You don't have to cover them up all the time. There are products that you can use that will give you results. These are good science-based products with key ingredients to target those areas of pigmentation, which is great. All of the products that we've talked about are available at Jersey Beauty, and we will link them in the notes below this video so you can read more about each of the products and decide if they are for you.